Hi, welcome back to my podcast, Love and Courageous. I'm your host, Demetris, and today I will be talking about Sally McNeil, also known by Killer Sally, the bodybuilder back in the 80s that murdered her husband, Ray McNeil, on Valentine's Day in 1995. Now, just in case anyone don't know, this documentary is on Netflix, and the documentary talks about a lot of things. It talks about Sally's relationship with Ray McNeil. It talks about also her childhood and her previous marriage, because she was married before she met Ray. Now, I will not be talking about all these things. I will only be discussing the trial where Sally McNeil was convicted of murdering her husband, Ray McNeil. Now, in the documentary, Sally's husband, Ray, was gone majority of the day instead of being at home with Sally. So, Sally decided that she was going to get dressed to search for her husband. Now, when she was planning on going to a nearby bar, because she said that's where she thought Ray might be, but Ray came home before she left. So when he came home, Sally asked Ray where he'd been. Then they got in an argument, and Sally said Ray started choking her. Somehow she managed to get away from Ray and went into their bedroom where she kept a shotgun and shot Ray in the stomach. After she shot Ray in the stomach, Sally said Ray continued to come towards her. So she shot him again, but in the face. Sally immediately called the cops. Ray was taken to the hospital where he died due to his wounds. Now I'm going to discuss a little bit about their relationship. So Sally and Ray met in the 80s, and they dated for 2 months and then decided to get married. But before Sally met Ray, she was previously married to a man named Anthony Loden, that they have 2 kids together, but Sally said that she left the marriage due to spousal abuse. So now I'm going to go back to the night that she murdered Ray, and I'm going to go into more depth on what she said happened and also what she told the detectives. So Sally did say that she did make plans to leave Ray and move back to Pennsylvania. Now, it was Valentine's Day, and Ray was not home majority of the day. And so when he did come home, and he asked her, if she was going somewhere, and she said, yeah, I was going to go look for you. And asked him where he's been, and Sally said that she told Ray that he looked like shit and told Ray that he's not going to place at all. And so Ray hit her, and then she said he started choking her. Sally ended up getting away and ran to the bedroom and grabbed the shotgun. She said she went into the living room and she told Ray to get out, and he says no. So she shoots him. And then she went to grab a blanket to cover his body. And then she said she gave the gun to a neighbor that was walking by. And after giving the gun to the neighbor, she said she went back into the apartment. Now, just in case anybody is wondering why did she give the gun to a neighbor that was walking by, she said she gave the gun to the neighbor to basically say that she's not a threat. She's not going to hurt anyone. Now, when she did shoot Ray, her daughter actually ran out of her room. And, she said she saw her dad lie on the ground. And Sally called the police. Now, during the 911 call, she told her daughter not to touch the door and then said he might beat me up. And I'm not even going to lie. I thought that was honestly kind of a little weird to even say, because you shot him. He's on the ground. So honestly, in my opinion, I don't think after being shot that anybody's going to beat you up. But I'm going to get to what happened in the interrogation room. So she, told the cops that she wanted to get out of the house, and Ray wouldn't let her. So she ran to the bedroom and grabbed the shotgun. She said she grabbed it to threaten him. Ray was standing at the stove cooking chicken, and she said she aimed a gun at him. Then he came after her, and she said she was scared, so she shot him. And after she shot him, she said he was still coming towards her, so she shot him again. Now, after hours of being questioned by detectives, it was a clip in the documentary where the detective, they said to Sally, they said, now, you never ask us how he was doing. And one of the detectives told Sally, you hurt him really bad. And said that basically he passed away due to his wounds. And Sally was just like, no, I didn't mean to. I just wanted him to stop hurting me. And they were saying, what type of position this puts you in, right? And it was a clip where she was explaining to detectives where she's always getting beat up by Ray on Valentine's Day. And after the detectives left the room, Sally decided to lay on the floor and take a nap. And I thought that was just very odd to do. Like, I don't know anyone that would take a nap on the floor. You're in the interrogation room. Normally people lay their head on the table, but I don't know anyone that would lay on the floor and take a nap. I just thought that was very odd. Now, Ray was shot twice. The first gunshot was to the stomach, and the second gunshot was to the face. Now, the first gunshot is what really killed him. But in the interrogation room, the detectives was asking Sally, where was the second gun shell? And Sally said that it was in her hand, because Sally's initial statement was, after she shot Ray by the kitchen, Ray came at her and she reloaded and shot him while he was standing up. Now, if this actually happened like Sally said, then the expended shotgun shell from the first shot would be in the living room. But they said the first shotgun shell was actually in the back bedroom where the ammo was. So what really happened was she had to go to the back bedroom and get another shell and load it. And to load the gun with the second shell, she had to release the first shell from the firearm. Now, Sally said that she shot Ray the second time when he was standing up. But that's not what the detectives are saying. Because of the simple fact there was a lamp in the living room on the table. And there was blood splattered underneath the lamp shade. And the detective said if Ray was standing up when he was shot the second time, then that blood would have been on the outside of the lamp shade. But it was under the lampshade. That means when Sally shot Ray the first time, he didn't continue to charge at her. He fell on the ground. So, therefore, when she shot him the first time and he fell to the ground, she went to the bedroom to reload the gun, came back out to the living room where Ray was laying down and shot him in the face. So, anytime when you are being investigated, law enforcement, they have to do their police work. to figure out any more information about your marriage or look into your criminal background. And detectives actually found out that Ray was actually having an affair. So in the documentary, then they start to move towards more of talking about the infidelity. So Sally actually would get violent with Ray about infidelity. She would find love letters and tell Ray, to break up with these women, and he would. But then she would turn around and find out that he's messing with another woman. And it was an incident where Sally has gotten in a disagreement with a woman at a bodybuilding contest. And this woman was talking to Ray, and Sally went to the woman and told her, to please get away from my husband. The woman said no, and she dropped the F-bomb on Sally and said, F you, Sally, and I go wherever I want. And Sally said, you're not going around my husband. So Sally decides to grab this woman by her hair and yank her to the ground and start punching her. Now, Sally actually ended up getting suspended from bodybuilding for a year because of that. And the detectives actually found out at the time of Ray's death, he was actually having an affair with a woman named Marianne. And detectives, they questioned her, and she was talking to them and was telling them, she met Ray at the gym 3.5 years ago. And Sally found out. Now, Sally found out because she saw that Marianne's phone number showed up on Sally's phone bill. So she decided to call Marianne and told her that she no longer belonged to Gold's Gym, and said that if she ever showed up at the gym, that Sally would kick her ass. Now, when detectives questioned Marianne actually told them that Ray fell in love with her and said that Ray had previous infidelities before then, and she don't think that Ray was ever happy in the marriage. And also, one of Ray's friends also said that Ray was planning on leaving Sally. Ray's friend Shannon Brown said that he thinks Sally knew that Ray was going to leave him because of this. In fact, on Valentine's Day, instead of being with Sally, he was actually out with somebody else. And there was a clip in the documentary where the detectives, they were questioning Sally, and they asked Sally, they said, did you ever wonder where Ray was, all this time when he was gone? And she said, I think he has a girlfriend. And I'm immediately thinking to myself, like, Sally, why would you say that? You look guilty right then and there, because she didn't think he had a girlfriend. She knew, because she also told the detectives that there was a woman phone number on the phone bill this one time, and Sally, asked Ray about it, and he lied about it, and she called it, and it turned out to be this woman that would work out at the gym. And Sally told that woman, I'm going to kick your ass if you fool around with my husband. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Sally, why would you tell the detectives that? That don't look good. You look guilty. And so at this point, you're letting the detectives know, okay, well, she knows about his infidelity because she has called Marianne and told her that she no longer belongs at Gold's Gym, and that if she sees her there, she's going to beat her ass. And so the fact that you told the detectives this, And the fact that you already called these women up and you threatened to beat them, they already know. Okay, you know about his infidelity. Now, another thing that was found out about Sally that they talked about in a documentary about, her criminal record is that she actually got judicial and non-judicial punishments in the military. Sally has beaten up the mailman before. She has gotten in a fight with 2 police officers, and 5 policemen threw her down the stairs, and she gets back up and say, "Let's keep going." So at this point, you don't look innocent. You look guilty because you murdered your husband, and the fact that you have all this on your record, it don't look good, because in their eyes they're like, well, you seem like you're a very violent person. Now, I will say this: I don't agree with the policeman throwing her down the stairs. I mean, dang, like, that was wrong. Now, in the documentary, Sally said the reason why she killed Ray because she was trying to protect herself, and that Ray was trying to kill her. And she said, "Live or die." And she also said to her that it seemed he came after me, but then she changed it and said, "No, he did come after me." And she said that she was running away from him when she shot him. Now, I don't know if anybody has watched the documentary yet. If you haven't, please watch it. Because in this little segment right here, she was basically trying to show how it happened. And she was walking away from Ray, she said, with her back turned towards him. But she was pointing a gun at him. And she said, then she shot him. But to me, that don't make sense. I don't know nobody that stands here and you mean to tell me you're walking away from this person but you shot them. That didn't make sense, because at first she said that she asked him to leave, he wouldn't, and then she said that she wanted to leave but he wouldn't let her, and so she shot him. And so it's like, well, now you're saying you was walking away. So Sally don't look innocent at all at this point, because she keep changing up her words. And it's like, it don't give a good look. And another thing she said, when Ray was choking her, or like when he hit her, then she stopped. And she said, "I don't remember everything. And if I don't get everything right in order, it doesn't mean I'm lying. I'm saying it happened 26 years ago." And she said that she did not plant this, because if she did plant it, she would have never done a day in prison. Now, there were some people that did testify in court, Ray friends and neighbors. And this one friend of Sally's, Peggy Hook, she was the only one that actually was on Sally's side. And Peggy actually said that she saw Sally with broken arms and a nose, but Sally never told anyone. And the only reason why she talked to Peggy about it was because Peggy saw it, and when Peggy would see these things, she would ask Sally about it. Now, Sally was actually found guilty of second-degree murder. And second-degree murder is where you basically intent to kill someone unlawfully with no excuse. And she was sentenced 19 years to life in prison. And she actually went through 5 parole board hearings since 2011. The first time she was denied because they said she was not a battered woman. Now, the last parole board, Sally said that she had to say that she intentionally killed her husband to basically be released from prison. And she was actually released from prison in 2020 during the summer after serving 25 years in prison. So after Sally was released from prison, she was actually living at the Veterans Transitional Center for homeless vets to stay. And she's actually working at a warehouse. And now Sally is actually married. She met her husband at the VTC, where you talk about your experience in prison. And in the documentary, Sally also talked about how she wanted to do an appeal on what happened, but she said that she don't care anymore because she's free. And I don't blame her because honestly, I don't think if she would have did the appeal, I don't think it would have helped her at all. But now I'm really going to just talk about my opinion of the documentary and what I think of it all. And I'm just going to be honest. I do not think that that was self-defense what she did. Because of the simple fact, she kept switching her story around. And I'm like, Sally, you keep switching your story around. And also when she said that it happened 26 years ago, she don't remember. And I call BS. Because of the simple fact, if you remember your childhood, because she was talking about her childhood in the documentary, and I said that I would not talk about that because I don't want to give everything away. I want anybody that has not watched the documentary to watch it. But she was talking about her childhood, and I feel like if you talk about your childhood, that's way long ago, than the year you murdered your own husband. I feel like you remember that night. You don't ever forget when you murdered someone. That is so traumatizing. And I feel like when she was saying it was 26 years ago and I don't remember, I feel like, in other words, what she was saying was she don't remember the lies she told 26 years ago. And in the documentary, you can tell Sally has a temper. You can definitely tell she has a temper because of the simple fact when they questioned her in the interrogation room and when they said, he was gone majority of the day, you didn't ever wonder where he was. And when she said, I think he has a girlfriend, she said it with an attitude. Like, she knew he had a girlfriend. Like, she was mad about that. And that's why I said, to me, I don't think that was self-defense. I feel like she was more mad at the fact that he was cheating on her than the fact that he was putting his hands on her. Because to me, the fact that she would beat the women up and that she would threaten them, I just felt like, to me, that I didn't understand. Because if a man is cheating on you, you're in a relationship with him. You shouldn't take that with the women. You need to take that up with him. And another thing is, in the documentary, when she called his mistress, sluts and whores, I honestly really didn't like when she said that because to me, I'm thinking to myself, well, what does that make your husband? You're in a relationship with him. You need to be getting upset with him. In my opinion, I don't understand anyone that is in the relationship and you take your anger out on the person that your partner is having an affair with. I don't understand that because at the end of the day, you're in a relationship with Ray. So you need to be getting mad at Ray. I'm not going to stand here and fight no one because you messing around with my man. If anything, I need to be mad at him. And I feel like at the end of the day, if a man is going to want to cheat, then he's going to cheat. She caught him numerous of times of cheating on her it was the same man. It was just with different women. So to me, who's the issue here? Like, don't get me wrong, sleeping with somebody that's married, that's definitely not right. But when you're in a relationship, I don't see how you can be beating the women up and getting mad at them, but you're not really getting mad at your husband. I didn't understand that. Like, yeah, she was upset that he was cheating, but I just feel like I'm not about to just fight a woman. I'm not fighting a woman because you mess with my man, sis. I mean, if he cheating on me, obviously he don't want me. If anything, the man is trash and you can have him, honey. I'm just not about to fight over no guy. And so I just feel like, to me, it didn't make sense for her to fight the women over him. And then on top of that, I mean, if he's being abusive towards you, why are you out here fighting the women that's messing with your man when he's beating your ass? It don't make sense to me. If a man is beating my ass, oh no, I'm not fighting no woman that he's messing with, because it's backwards in my mind. The fact that you are getting mad over the infidelity part more than the fact that he's putting his hands on you. Yes, she was upset because he was putting his hands on her, but I feel like she was more mad at the fact of the infidelity. And I didn't understand it. Another thing I will say is, like, when she shot him in the face the second time. In my opinion, that shot to the face, that seemed real personal. The fact that she literally shot him one time and she lied. And she lied and said that he was still coming towards her. So, no, at this point, you're lying, Sally. So, I can see how she was found guilty because you lied. You said that he was coming towards you. And it's like in documentary when she said it was 26 years ago, she don't remember. You remember if you shot somebody, whether they fell to the ground or whether they was still coming towards you. You remember that. When she shot him, he fell to the ground. And then the fact that she went to the bedroom, reloaded the gun, came back and shot him in the face. No, that was premeditated murder. She was pissed off. She was pissed off at the fact that this man was having an affair and that he was going to leave her. Because his friends did say that Ray was going to leave Sally. Now, I will say that he was abusive because even her kids in the documentary said he was. So I don't think that was a lie. But I just feel like the reason why she murdered him was because of the fact he was cheating. It had nothing to do with the fact that he was putting his hands on her. It had to do with the fact that he was cheating. And a lot of people are upset that she was actually found guilty because, you know, she was in an abusive relationship and they felt like she should have been found innocent. Well, I mean, yes, she was in an abusive relationship, but at the end of the day, they are trying to figure out what led to this murder. What led to her killing her husband? That's what they're trying to figure out. And when you are being questioned by detectives, okay, they're going to try to figure out, you know, if your story adds up with the crime scene they have. It didn't add up. So the fact that some people are upset that she was found guilty, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I can actually see why she was found guilty. Yes, she was in an abusive relationship, but her murdering her husband had nothing to do with the fact that he was abusive towards her. She murdered him because she was pissed off that he was cheating. And on top of that, she was lying. You cannot stand there and say, I'm a battered woman. You know, he was choking me and this is why I killed him. But you stood there and you shot him twice. The first time he was standing up, and then the second time he was on the ground. But what she said was, after she shot him the first time, that he still came charging towards her. Well, that don't match up with the crime scene, Sally. So that's why she was found guilty. If you are lying, a lot of times you're going to be found guilty. So the fact that she was lying, I could not be upset that she was found guilty. So I really wasn't upset that she was found guilty, to be honest, because I said, well, Sally, you lied. Now, don't get me wrong. I do know there are, a lot of people out here that deals with domestic violence, and the system do not protect people of domestic violence. They really don't, because there are times where people have stood here and went to the cops, and they have shown to the officers the voice messages or the text messages, their ex is threatening them to kill them, or these people can even have a busted lip or a black eye, and this person can even be stalking you, and law enforcement will only arrest the person or tell you that you can put a restraining order on them, but the restraining order really doesn't help. The restraining order to a lot of people is just a sheet of paper. A lot of people do not take restraining orders seriously. So it's like the restraining order is not helpful. They need to do more when it comes to domestic violence, and also the restraining orders. They need to put like more rules on it, because literally, I won't ever forget, I was watching this documentary one day, and this lady, she had a restraining order, on her husband, and he was out in the front yard, and she literally had a video, and she showed them, and they was literally saying, that's not a threat. Are you for real? This man is literally, in the front of the yard. He wasn't exactly like in the yard, but like he was in front of her property. And they were saying that's not a threat. How? And he even had a gun in his hand. And that's why I say, to me, the system do not protect people of domestic violence. And it's really upsetting, because we have seen this so many times, law enforcement has, and they don't do anything any differently. And that's why I'm upset, because I'm like, well, there's been millions of cases of domestic violence. How long have you been in law enforcement? How many of these cases have you seen where the person comes out alive? And you mean to tell me, as an officer, you're not going to take the text messages or the voice messages, the fact that this person is stalking this person, and the bruises, you're not going to take that seriously? They only get a day or two in jail? That's not enough. I feel like they need to do more. But I will go back to Sally McNeil, and like I said, I can't fully defend her, because I feel like the reason why she killed him was because he was cheating, but she tried to use the, oh, he's abusive towards me, that's why I did it. But no. If that was really the reason, I feel like she wouldn't have lied as much as she did, because she kept switching her story up. And that's why I said, nah, I'm not going to have her back on this. But one thing I will say about Sally is that I don't think Sally really thought anything through. You could definitely tell she had a temper. Like when it came to the fact of being that woman up at the bodybuilding contest, you could tell like she has a temper. I don't think she really thought anything through. And I'm like, Sally, you got kids. You trying to, build your career up in bodybuilding. And you're not thinking everything through. You're not thinking about, okay, the fact that I just beat this woman up, I can't really put my career in jeopardy. She didn't think like that. And also when she killed him, she didn't think, okay, about her kids. She didn't think about my career. She didn't really think about it. I feel like she was just so mad. And she didn't think anything through. If you watch the documentary, you will see that she has a temper. And I feel like she just didn't really think about, okay, let me weigh my options out here. Let me think before I just decide to threaten a woman that my husband is having an affair with. Let me think about my career. Let me think about how that can affect me. Think about my kids. I got kids. I got bills to pay. I'm not even trying to be funny or nothing. If somebody's cheating on you, don't even beat the people up. Think about your life. Think about where you're trying to go in life. I felt like she didn't really think about that. And that's why she wound up in the situation she was in. Anytime when, your partner is, cheating or whatever, you got to be in control. You have to. But someone that has the temper, they don't really think. That's the issue. They don't really think about what they're going to do before they do it. And that's the issue about it. So if you got a temper, you need to work on it, because I'm telling you, you do not want to be in the situation to where it can really just jeopardize, your whole entire life. And I felt like that she should have just left like she said she was, because she did say she was going to leave him. In my opinion, the fact that he was cheating constantly, she could have just kicked him out. I'm like, yeah, you can go. Because they said he was planning on leaving anyway. So I'm like, you could just pack your stuff and you could just leave. Because he didn't love her anyway. And I felt like Ray, he didn't have the guts to leave. But to me, the fact that you're cheating, you obviously don't want to be here. He obviously didn't love her. You could tell he didn't love her. But she wanted to be loved. And that's why I was just like, to me, I'm like, somebody should have just said, okay, we're going to call it quits. But to me, another thing is that don't make sense is that the fact that he was cheating and Sally knew he was cheating, and she was mad that he wasn't home on Valentine's Day. Or I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but Sally, if you knew he was cheating, then why would you expect him to be home on Valentine's Day? I think maybe that was a sign right there to her. Like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. It's Valentine's Day and he's not here. He's with her. So I think it probably clicked on her. And I think that's why she was pissed off, because she felt like, well, he should be home with me. But if you know he's cheating, why would you expect him to be home? I'm not trying to be funny. If a guy's cheating and it's Valentine's Day, I would hope you wouldn't think he's going to be home with you. He's going to be with that Mr. Sweetheart. I'm sorry. But that's who he was with. And it made her mad. Now, however, close to the end of the documentary, I will say this. Sally do seem like she has calmed down. I will say that. And I think she realized she missed out on a lot. And I'm pretty sure she probably do wish she could go back to that day and be like, dang, I shouldn't have let my emotions get the best of me. I should have really thought this through and say, okay, wait a minute, I have kids. I want to see them grow up. I'm trying to start a career in bodybuilding. And I think when you are behind bars and you looking at the same four walls for 25 years, you realize how much you really miss out on when you are released. And I think she realized that. But honestly, she seems like she is happy. I think that she realized she shouldn't have did that, because honestly, she could have been a bodybuilder. She could have been making, a whole lot more money. She could have seen her kids grow up, but now she's working at a warehouse. So it's like she could have had it all, but she lost it all because of that one decision. And I will say this to anybody out there that is dealing with abuse: please get out. It's really no joke. And I hope that you have the strength to get up and leave and tell yourself that you deserve better, because you really do. Love is not supposed to hurt. And no one deserves to be physically, emotionally, mentally, or sexually abused. No one deserves it. And if you do have kids, I need you to keep this in mind, is that when you have kids, they are watching you. They are watching anything that they see. So if they are constantly seeing your partner being abusive towards you, sadly, a lot of times kids, when they get older, they wind up in abusive relationships because of the fact that they are used to seeing this as a kid. So I really do hope anybody out there with kids, or even if you don't have a kid, just keep this in mind, that kids are watching. They really are. And you have to set an example and let them know that this is not okay. And if you don't have kids, know your worth and know what you deserve. And I will say this, my advice to anybody out there is always know what you will and will not put up with before you get in a relationship. That's definitely a advice that I would give anyone out there, because I think it's important for you to know your worth and know what you deserve. And no one deserves to be beaten on. But I will give people a little signs of what an abusive person look like, because I know when sometimes people, they get in relationships and they become in denial because they don't want to believe that the person they are with, are this way. But please do not make up excuses for your partner at all. When you see wrong in your partner, please recognize it. Do not defend them, because you're not helping yourself at this point. So one sign that I really want everybody to know is that if you're in a relationship with someone, a lot of times someone that's abusive, they will show signs of jealousy and lack of trust. They probably accuse you all the time of cheating on them. They are also controlling. So they like for you to constantly check your phone, answer them when they call, and also they want to know where you are. They like to know where you are every minute, every time of the day. Please do not take it as, oh, they care about me. No, because that's what a lot of people say. They say they just care about me. No, they don't. I'm telling you, they don't. And another sign of someone being abusive is quick involvement. A lot of times people that are abusive, they come off as charming. And I have always said that anytime you use the word charming, towards someone, just know the C in charming, it really stands for crazy. I just gotta say that because honestly, those are a lot of times the signs of someone that is abusive or, like serial killers out here. A lot of times people describe them as charming. And also isolation. They are separating you from your friends and your family. And also, they like to blame others for how they treated you, or they like to blame you for what they did. They don't like ever taking responsibility for their own actions. And also, pay attention if they're being very abusive towards animals or children. Another sign is they like to force their partners into sexual activity and verbal abuse as well. Degrade them, call them names, put down all their accomplishments, tell them they stupid, and also know that they are also violent by putting their hands on you, and also verbal violence, saying they're going to kill you or they threaten you in any type of way. So I hope that, like I said earlier, anybody that is in an abusive relationship, please get out. It's no joke. And I hope that no one do ever get in an abusive relationship. And I hope that everybody take the advice that anybody gives you, or the advice I just gave, please take it seriously. But that is all today. Thank you all for listening. And on my next episode, I'll be talking about the Jacksonville killer. So I hope everyone have a nice day. Thank you all for tuning in.